Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm down here at one of my favorite little spots. I have this little stream that's right below our property. It's fun to come down here and just listen to the water. So first off, thank you everyone who commented and private messaged me about what happened during my race over the weekend. You've really helped. You've played a big part in my sort of emotional, mental well-being recovery from that. I am starting to feel a little bit better about what happened, even though, I mean, I'm probably going to remember it for a very long time. Because as I said, just like very briefly before, like the being pulled out of the race by somebody who didn't have the authority to do it wasn't the only thing that person did to me in the time that I was at the aid station. So it had a huge impact on me, and I'm thinking mostly because, you know, when you're in like a somewhat, I don't want to say weakened mental state, but you know how you get really tired during a race like that, and you know, you're vulnerable. So like the fact that kind of stuff happened when it did, I think is what's, you know, making it harder for me to bounce back from it. So that's kind of my perspective and take on it as a mental health counselor. But yeah, like some of you said, you come out the other end stronger, and you know, thank you for that and for those messages. And you know, it is very rare that we run into people like that during races, because that's just not our community. I don't really think this person was technically a part of our community. I don't know. But yeah, sometimes, you know, things happen and people treat us in the exact way that we need treated at the time. So, oh my goodness, so many thoughts together. Sorry guys. This is like the third time I've tried making this video. So the reason I'm bringing this stuff up is since it has happened to other people, and I know that as a community, running community and ultra running community, we struggle with like our body images and taking care of our bodies. So it's very important that we talk about this kind of stuff, and I appreciate everybody who does talk about it and who's very open to talking about it and supporting other people and lifting each other up. So, you know, 2 instances in my life that I've had an issue with, like, running and what my perceived, you know, expectation of a body image of an ultra marathon athlete is supposed to look like. You know, sometimes we have like this picture in our head, but really all of us are different, and we all have different body types, and all of our bodies are capable of doing what they do. All right, running ultra distances. But things get in the way of us seeing the wonderful, amazing things that our bodies do for us. And so, like I said, two things that have come up was one, a couple of years ago when I lived in Alexandria, Virginia. I was on my last training run before going into OSS CIA 50 miler. I was out on my run, and a man stopped me in a busy area where a lot of tourists go. I mean, it was a city, so and I don't know why he stopped me. I think he wanted to see whether I was worth like checking out or hitting on or whatever. But I'm a nice person. I stopped. He asked about my run, and I wanted to get away from him, basically. So I told him, listen, I gotta go finish this run. I've got a race Saturday. And he's like, oh, what race you got? And I'm like, I'm doing a 50 miler. And then he says, you don't look like you could run 50 miles. Your legs look too weak. And I said to him that my legs are actually very strong. And I left. So right there, one thing that we can do is when someone makes a comment about us, about our bodies, one thing, make sure you have kind of in your back pocket is a comeback of something that you can say to them and something that reinforces to you. Like that body positivity. So like a positive affirmation. Recall the strong things that your body can do. So I went into that weekend, that race, and honestly though, even though I don't have issues per se with my body like an eating disorder or anything, because I know we all struggle with like that body image and self-care, stuff like that. I went into that race and it still affected me. I was in the back of the pack for the first couple miles, and it was like mentally just beating on me, and I felt slower and slower and slower, and I was feeling what he said to me, that my legs were weak, and I slowly was able to let go of it over the next few miles and enjoy the race. Ultimately I actually finished second female overall. So I mean, like, we can't go and put limits on ourselves and expectations with our bodies. The second time that something has come up from someone else about my body was during Saturday's race. One of the things that the aid station lady pointed out to me was that someone of my size should not be out there running this sort of event, and that I needed to be taking extra care of my body, compared to the other athletes that were running. And I was kind of like, what's the difference between me and the other people? I'm smaller, just because I'm small, I'm petite. If you haven't seen me, I'm like 4'11" and a half feet tall, like, what the heck, lady? And so she said that, and she was also trying to tell me what I should and shouldn't do during the race. While I was in this aid station, which I spent more time there than any other aid station, because she kept holding me there because she didn't think I was okay. And, going back to she's not an ultra runner, wasn't listening to what I was telling her I actually just needed to do. So I was just kind of stuck there, thinking she had the authority to hold me there and to pull me. So, okay. Anyway, it was just a cycle. But, telling me, so I sat down for her. I took care of myself a little bit, but not really, because they didn't want me to have solid food, because I went to the bathroom and I thought maybe I had diarrhea, and they asked me, and I was like, I just think, I have diarrhea, whatever. And they're like, oh, you can't have any solid food. So, like, what the heck? Okay, the story just keeps getting more messed up. All right, so then I'm sitting there being like, good, okay, and also crying because I was devastated. And I got up and I started doing leg swings, because, you sit there for a long time, or what felt like a long time, because really I just wanted to be freaking out there running. And oh my goodness. So I start doing leg swings, and then she's telling me, she's like, you have cramps, don't you? And I'm like, what? I said, no, I'm not cramping up. It's like, I need to be moving. My legs are getting stiff. And then immediately, she didn't even care or even hear what I said. She's just like, you have cramps. Go get a Tylenol. It's like, that person over there has Tylenol. And I was seriously just like, oh my gosh, guys. I couldn't even stand up for myself, because the whole time that I was there, it just felt like she was relentless. I don't know how else to explain it. She would not, get off of me, so to say. I don't understand why this happened or anything like that. So I did not get the Tylenol, because I don't take Tylenol. I don't take any pain management or anything, ever. So, just, again, with the body stuff and trying to tell you what you need. That's kind of, it's messed up she was doing that. But, we all know what we need, and we need to make sure that we're doing it and taking care of ourselves. They let me down because they should have been taking care of me, and they weren't. I really just needed a friend, and there's just, it was a group of old women that were there, basically, at that aid station, and that was not what I needed. She also took a jab at my mental health. She let somebody go who was having feet and shoe problems. She made them sit down and take off their shoes and their socks and then put them back on, which was kind of stupid, in my opinion. And she tried to make me do the same thing. And immediately I almost snapped at her, telling her I never take off my shoes during a race. Why would I do that? In Gingy and Ultra, shoes for the win. And she's like, okay, you know what's best for you. I'm thinking, no kidding, I do. So she told me when she let that person go back out on the course with the shoe issue, she's like, you're not convincing me that you're in a good enough mental state to go back out there. She's like, I let them go back out there just because they're having a shoe issue. But, you're not convincing me that you should go back out there. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what do I need to do? So anyway, people saying things about your body, and basically it was kind of attacking. At least it seemed very attacking when you're down in that lower state that I was talking about. And it sucks because I really wish I wasn't as tired as I was, so I could have just been thinking more clear. I should have just left, because I thought about it, but I also wanted to be invited back to the race again another year. So I don't even know. But going back to, we really do need to stick up for ourselves and protect ourselves from these kind of things. And I already mentioned some ways that we can do that. Other ways is just examining our thoughts. So, what kind of negative or distorted thoughts are you having? Really just looking at those and being honest with yourself. And being open and accepting to every parts of our body. We all have a part of our body or a way that it functions that we don't like. But just, embracing it and loving it for how it is and what it does for you. It's so important that we do that. So I'm not hating on myself for my body, and we all get negative thoughts, and thoughts are just thoughts, but really just make sure you're not hating on yourself. Embrace your body and what you have and its ability. Focus on the positive things that it can do, and it's okay to want to improve. We're always improving as ultra runners, always. That's what's so awesome about our sport, is that we're always able to push ourselves harder and improve in some way, and it's like a fun puzzle. And then if you're really struggling though with body image and taking care of yourself, it's okay, go see a professional mental health counselor. They can, someone who specializes in that though. And make sure they're a good fit for you to work with. And and ask questions, ask them all the questions. Also, dietitians or nutritionists would be someone else you could reach out to, for eating. And, if you need some help with your running, obviously a run coach. And, look out, because some, maybe a lot of run coaches also have a specialty or a certificate in nutrition. So that's, something to just keep in mind if you really need that and you need that extra support. So that was those were my thoughts on the body and the body image and body positivity. It was kind of directed more towards the ultra runners, but I'm sure it's very similar for all runners and something that we struggle with. So yeah, guys, just, be strong and take care of yourselves. All right. Here, I'll show you my little waterfall. All right, guys, have a good day. Thanks for listening to me ramble about, all sorts of stuff. I appreciate it. Have a good one.